Hey, Life Uncloseted family, it's time once again for an Uncloseted Riff and Rant. I'm your host, Rick Clemens, and today I want to say that being an LGBTQ person, mostly a gay man, I have a lot in common with the KKK. Now, don't go running going, okay, Rick has lost it. He is a complete loon, because bear with me and listen to what I have to say. Because you see, here's what happens when you are in the closet. You are hiding behind a mask. You're trying everything you can to keep people from figuring out that, okay, here's my dirty little secret. Even though there's nothing dirty about it. You just don't want people to know because, gosh, society has made being gay, lesbian, bi, trans, all of those things like yuck, yuck, yuck. Kind of the same as the KKK. They hide behind those masks. Yes, they're a little more emboldened these days than they have been. White supremacy is on the rise. And, you know, those alt-right sorts are really, really, really coming out from behind their masks. But that is something that we do have in common. Now, the other thing is they want to be heard and understood. Not so sure about the understood part, but they sure want to be heard. And that's kind of the same thing as those of us who are in the closet. We want to be heard and understood, and we want to be, you know, treated fairly and loved and cared for, which in their own way, that's kind of what the KKK and all those white supremacists want as well. And here's the thing. Once we do make that bold move, just like when they make the bold moves to come out and say, here's what we believe, white supremacy, and we are part of this, they either get embraced by a community or they get rejected by society. And for those of us who've been in the closet, the same thing happens. We either get embraced by a community of people who says, cool, we love you no matter what. We get embraced into the LGBTQ community. We have people who support us, who are our allies, or we get rejected by society. And what's interesting about both of us, not just like there's only two of us, but about the KKKs and the white supremacists and all these things, is we just want to be who we are. And we want to live life on our own terms. And I've thought about this numerous times, and I've even thought about, you know, putting together a TEDx talk for this, and it puts me a little bit on a nervous edge to go down this route, but we're all human. And here's where I feel like we're different. Because here's what I know to be true for me. And here's what I think is different for those of us in the LGBTQ society from those who are in the white supremacy, KKK, in that realm. We want to be authentically who we are so that we can live our truth and be our truth, and there's no harm intended. Whereas on their side of the fence, I believe there's some harm intended, even though it might not seem like it is blatantly, and sometimes it is very blatant. We see it on the news. But I'm sure in some way they believe that they're causing no harm, but they are, because their authenticity says you're no good. The other thing that I think is different is, as an LGBTQ person, I don't feel like it makes me superior. Okay, maybe we are a little more fabulous, but I'm just kidding, because that's like a stereotype. But there's nothing about being LGBTQ that makes me superior to anyone. Now, it may make me feel special because I know I'm unique. But guess what? When you level the playing field, we're all unique. However, I do feel like, my opinion, that the KKK and the people on those alt-right groups feel that they're superior, because it's all about the race. It's all about the things that they do to marginalize communities. But there's nothing that I feel as an LGBTQ person that truly makes me superior. And the third thing that I really, really challenge anyone who doesn't get us as an LGBTQ community is to really come up with how we are causing you harm. I don't come into your world. I don't come into your bedroom and tell you what to do. I don't come into your home and say, oh my gosh, you're raising your children this way. But for whatever reason, people seem to think that because we are LGBTQ, we are causing harm. And this is all you hear these days, is we are the downfall of the world and all this stuff. That's fine to have your opinion, but go do that with your little group of people. Go live your life that way, because I know this to be true. There's not a LGBTQ person who is out here to harm anyone in the world. I believe that in my heart. I believe that in my soul, as much as we are all humans. Now, of course, there are people in my own community who do people harm. I'm not saying we're perfect, But our being LGBTQ, there is not a little checklist that we check when we say, okay, this is who I am. Now I'm going to go do harm to someone else. We're going to go do harm in the world. But why am I sharing that? Because quite honestly, all of us have these things in common. We all hide behind masks. We all want to be heard and understood. We all want to do the thing we want to do. And when we show up the way we want to show up, we're going to be either embraced or rejected by certain people and communities. But at the end of the day, at the truth of who we are, we just want to truly be who we are and be able to live life on our terms. So if you ever think you don't have anything in common with the KKK or the communists or people who don't see things the way you do, whether it be the Democrats, the Republicans, the alt-left, the alt-right, whatever it is, the liberals, the conservatives, just remember, every one of us is hiding behind masks. All we want to do is be heard and understood. We want to come out to be who we are, and we're all going to get rejected, and we're all going to be accepted in different ways. But when we allow each other to be who we are and live our life on our terms and do it with no harm, it's going to be a better world. So that's where I'm going to leave it today, because I just felt like I had to get that stuff, that big stuff off my chest, because it's been weighing on me for about a week, or actually that thought has been weighing on me for several months, almost a year, because I talked about doing a TEDx about this a long time ago. And then I'm like, I don't know if I want to go this far, but I thought, you know what? I'm going to balls it up. I'm going to do what I got to do. And I'm going to bring it up on my podcast, because I needed to face my fears. I needed to make the bold move to come out and talk about this, because I don't want to go to my grave apologizing for not having spoken about something where I could see some intersections between me and my fellow human beings, even if I don't agree with the way they are, even if I don't believe in what they believe. I just wanted to show up this way. And sometimes you just got to realize everybody's on a spectrum. And in fact, I want you to tune in next week, because we're going to go on a ride all over the spectrum. And that's all I'm going to say. So have a great few days. We will be back in just a few more days with another interview, and make sure you tune in, because let me tell you, this spectrum ride is one of my favorite podcasts I've ever recorded. Take care, everyone.